Hi, this is Peter, and I'm here in San Diego with my brand new 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee High Altitude, and I've got a few features I want to show you. I'm going to show you the climate features here. It's got quite a bit of cool climate features. My favorite feature, so I've owned Jeep Grand Cherokees for 21 years. This is my fifth Grand Cherokee. My last one was an Overland that I owned for 10 years, and it had this dual climate control system where you can control both sides of the car to different temperatures. But what I really like here is this sync button. So this sync button will keep them in sync, and so that way if I make an adjustment here, they'll be matched. See, right now they're not matched because the sync button's not pressed, but if I push sync, it'll sync them up, which is really cool. And so it's got quite a lot of features here for heating and cooling. It's got your standard directional, which way you want to do it. It's got your standard AC settings, recirculating air if you want the fan. You can hear the fan go on. And it's also, by the way, got the hard buttons too. So if you don't want to touch the screen, or if you got your nav running, you could just touch and control the AC completely from the hard buttons here. And the feature I want to show you here is the auto feature. You simply push the auto button, and then when you do that, kind of all the features go dark. And pretty much the only thing that you have control over here is the temperature. And the car is pretty smart, so you can just give it a temperature and it will stay at that temperature. And you don't have to worry about the fan or anything else. The car just kind of does its own thing. And so I usually just keep it on the auto. The only time I kind of override that auto is if I want the outside air. If I'd want to vent from the outside, I don't want to run the air conditioning for some reason, or the heating. A lot of times I like to do that. So then I'll turn off the auto. But one of the things to remember is when you turn off the auto, watch what happens is the AC automatically turns on. And then you kind of want that, right? You kind of don't want to turn off your auto and then the car gets hot. So you got to also turn off the AC. And then when you do that, now the vent's on. And so now the car is venting from the outside. It doesn't say it's venting. So you kind of have to know when the AC is off, the car is venting, but it will vent, and it feels kind of fine venting too if it's a nice day out. Also, there are controls back here as well for your heat warmers, and also if the vent is going up or down as well. And if you could feel it, the air, that controls kind of the direction that the air goes in. Otherwise it would come from underneath. And this Jeep doesn't have temperature controls back here. I think my old one might have, I don't remember. But it does have USB and a regular old power switch with the ground, so you could plug in your laptop. Remember, don't overload it. There is an amperage limit. It says here that the wattage is 150 watts, so don't put too much of a heater back there. And then it's got your seat warmers there for your back seats. And one of the things I found about the back seats is that there's a lever on both sides that causes them to recline, and that you kind of want to recline your back seats after you fold them down. Something I just found out, actually. I'm actually finding out a new feature in this car almost every day. It's quite amazing. That's why I'm making these videos, so that some of you guys will learn the features that I just had to discover on my own. Also, I hope you'll like this car as much as I did. I watched some of these videos from other people before I bought my car, and I hope this video does the same for you. Anyway, we went through the climate control, but I did want to show you some of the buttons here at the bottom, which are kind of special buttons. The buttons here, this button here is the parking button, and this car does park itself. You do have to push the gas or the brake if you choose. The brake will brake automatically if you don't push the brake, but this thing will turn on the sensor for the park sense feature. And the way this works is you need to be driving, and when you're driving, it will search for a spot. And here's the trick. What you need to know is you got to signal for which side you want to parallel park on. So right now it defaults to the right side, but if you wanted to look for a spot on the left-hand side, just signal to the left, and then you see how it swaps over. And then I think if you stop signaling, then it still stays there on the left. But you know what? Parallel parking isn't the only way that this car can park itself. If you push the button again, let's see. Maybe I did it wrong. If you push it, sorry. If you push OK on the steering wheel, there's OK. If you push OK, it'll switch to the perpendicular parking mode, which is more of your standard parking mode. And again, if you signal, it'll pick the cars on the left-hand side versus the right-hand side. Don't forget to signal so that you get it to recognize the right one. And then all you do is you drive by the spot, and it'll do its thing. And we'll do a little demo of that in a future video. Again, that's the Park Sense. Let's see, a couple other things. Here is these are those sensors that I have. If I push those, then the car will start beeping at me. If it's off, if it's off, the car won't beep at me when I come close to something. It's sometimes useful if you're driving in close quarters, and sometimes that beeping can be annoying. Also, it's got a way to turn off. So you gotta remember, this one's an on one, this one's an off one, this is an off one too. This one turns off the lane departure warning. I think they call it lane sense. And the way this works is that there's a camera in the rear view mirror on the other side, and it looks out for lines, and then it keeps the car within those two lines. And you see here, there is a little icon, and this little icon there changes colors depending on what mode it's in. And also you can adjust the head unit here to have different modes. Right now it's in the driver assist mode, so these things will like light up. The steering wheel will kind of feel tight if you're departing from the lane. This here will change colors. White means that the system is on, but it's not hasn't currently activated. It'll turn green when it activates, and it will turn orange or flash orange when you're departing from the lane and you need to correct your driving. And so again, if I push the button there, you could see lane sense turns off and the icon disappears, and the icon comes back if I push the button. So we got a few other buttons here. We've got this eco off button, and this kind of turns off the economy mode of the car, and so the car's a little snappier. If we turn on sport mode, the car's even snappier. I'll do videos on these in the future. And this also turns off the electric traction control. Again, this is an on one, and the rest of them are all off. This will turn off the slippage. If the traction control, you can see it's turned off. I don't know why you'd want to turn that off. It's always kind of useful. I always leave it on. But anyway, also, you've got your defrosters here. You got a front and rear one in case you wanted to do that. And by the way, this does control the fan. It overrides auto if auto is on. Remember, the AC would turn on. And then you could also turn everything off, or turn off the climate by pushing the off button. Anyway, this is Peter here in San Diego, and I'm showing you my new 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee high altitude package. Have a nice day.